Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Sikkim Chronicle. In the podcast today, we are going to discuss something very important issue which in fact has been a global talk now, and that is the protection of an environment. We know that every year June 5th is observed as World Environment Day. This is the day when people pledge to support the Mother Earth and of course to extend their bit of effort to save the environment. But are we limiting only up to planting of trees to observe the world environment? This is what we are going to discuss today. And what could be the students' point of view, the young mind's point of view on conservation and preservation of our environment and biodiversity? This is what we are going to discuss. Sikkim Chronicle team right now is in Greendale Senior Secondary School in Tadon, and joining with me are the students and of course a teacher of this institution. Before I move on with the discussion, let's have a quick round of an introduction.
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Abhyut Subba and I'm here as a physical education teacher. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Kamaresh Bhatia and I'm from class 12 science.
Hi, I'm Sarika Kurum from class 12 humanities.
All right.
Hello everyone, my name is Sweta Nakmarai and I'm from class 12 humanities.
Hello everyone, I'm Riggs Norton and I'm from class 12 humanities.
Hi everyone, I am Lanza Lepcha and I'm from class 12 humanities.
All right guys, welcome to this very special podcast of Sikkim Chronicle, and today, as I said in my opening remark, that we'll be talking about the environment. So what is that first thing when you come across a word environment comes in your mind? I mean, what is that? What that thought comes when we talk about environment?
Basically, in my mind, it comes all about nature, how we keep our surroundings clean, and maintaining that eco-friendly environment amongst people. That's what I believe.
But do you think like we have quite been selfish when it comes in terms of protecting the environment?
Of course, everybody is selfish, right? So we've been using our nature for our needs. So like that's how I guess the resources are getting used up, and soon it's all going to be exhausted and we won't have anything later on. That's it.
So what do you think, what could be the major factors which in fact is really affecting our environment and the biodiversity?
First of all, I think it's pollution, air pollution, land pollution and all sorts of pollution, and then population, population growth, and then it's migration, and then clumping up of clustered settlements, and then people clumping up in at one place and then using its natural resources, and then later on the nature won't be
Providing that,
yeah.
All right. So, do you think are we doing a bit of us, like our effort to save the Mother Earth?
Yeah, like we are doing a bit of things to save the Mother Earth, but like only on a certain day, like one Mahotsava or on the Environment Day. In the other days, like people are selfish. They do not grow plants and all. They just post on Facebook and Instagram just World Environment Day, but they do not work as usual as every day. So it's like people are working just for a day, not for a certain year or period of time.
So you mean to say posting picture in Instagram and Facebook, planting a tree has become a fashion statement rather than nurturing the... So how do you take this? What can be done?
I think rather than, like my friend said, like posting on Facebook and really bragging about the environment, we should lace up and kind of take initiatives and come up with these kind of initiatives every single day. Like one day in a year is not enough to save our Mother Nature. It is very much important for us to be aware and to realize while we have time that Mother Nature is very important for us, and if we go on like this, there will come a time when everything is going to be barren, it's going to look brown, and people will no longer know what green color actually is. So before that happens, we should lace up and start taking initiatives.
Right. So let me put some figure or the data and the statistics in context to Sikkim. As per the Forest and Environment Department information, Sikkim totally covers a forest area of 47.69%, which in fact is very good on a national average. Let me come to you. You are one of the teachers in the institution, and the role of a teacher is not just to impart the book knowledge to the students. How and what could be the best possible ways to educate students in schools in regard to the environment, conservation of the biodiversity?
Yes, the teacher role is very, very important in the school levels because the teacher is the medium of the education, like to educating the children. And this is what we have been doing in our school. We have a green club, and most of the class tenors are involved in the green club. What we do is we take our time in certain days of a month, and we go around in the surroundings. We select the location, and then we plan out how we can clear up the waste, everything whatever is like over there. And then we also try to educate the normal people, not only the normal people, even the people who are associated with the school, that why is cleaning our environment is very, very important. Why is the personal health environment? And when we talk about environment, there are lots of dimensions of environment. It's just not about the environment that we are surrounded by. It's about the physical environment, about the social environment, economical environment. So environment has a huge dimension actually. So we have to be up to the mark, And here the education, the role of education is very important, because when we see an educated person, and not just see, but when we compare an educated person and a person who is not educated, then there is a big difference, about the valuing, about the sense of value, the importance of the environment. So education, the role of teacher is very, very important. That's what I feel.
So what do you think, look, when we talk about degrading environment, what could be the factors? Because what I strongly feel is the garbage management or the solid waste management. And plastics is one of the major hazards which in fact is affecting our environment, because it takes so much of years to decompose, right? So how can we tackle that? I mean,
well, as human beings, we always use plastics in our day-to-day lives to deal with certain, doing shopping and going to different places, exploring, etc. But what I strongly feel is that we should condemn that, as in using plastic bags, about doing shopping and all, and use more jute bags, and use and eat more things which are biodegradable, which decompose easily, and that's all.
Yeah.
So, regarding the plastic, right now, if you see in the market, we are totally bombarded with the products which is all contained in the plastic. If you compare the shampoo bottles, it used to come before. Now it has been converted into a small sachets, which is basically made of plastic. So we also, like a general reason, we also have to think that how to manage this small, the shopping items that we usually go and buy in the market. What we can do is, instead of using the PET bottles, we can have our own personal bottle, and instead of buying the water from the market, from the shops, why can't we reuse our own PET bottles? And then that is how we can control the use of plastics. And even the small sachets, whatever we get in the market, instead of that buying a small sachets, we can buy a huge amount, and that will help to limit the waste of the plastic which is generated.
Right. So in this context, let me inform you that a small village in North Sikkim, Lachen, has adopted this policy that no tourist or no any other visitors can carry a mineral water bottle. They need to carry other forms of bottle, but the mineral water bottle is totally banned. So because we know Lachen is one of the prominent tourism hotspot. Let me come to you. Tell us now we see there are so much of industries, factories being set up, not only in Sikkim but all across the world, which in fact is because the factories are being set up to meet the consumer needs of the people. What can be done?
Well, we need the things that are being produced. We obviously need it, but the plastic, I think we should dump those plastics in proper bins, dump degradable waste in like blue bin and plastics in another one. So that's how we can
So do you think government should have a better policy to tackle the industrial waste?
I think they should come up with more ways how to
Tackle.
like decompose, not decompose, but how to
Manage.
just manage the plastics separately.
So Singapore follows this rule of 3 R's, that is reuse, recycle, reduce. So can Sikkim adopt this kind of thought process or policies?
Yeah, sure. Of course, because Sikkim is no less, and then we have a lot of educated people over here, and then the literacy rates are going higher rates, and then of course we can, because nothing is impossible. And if we take a step forward, if a group of people take those steps forward, and if it's for our good and for our if we can save our mother nature through that, then of course we can. And then we just need our determination
And the will.
Yeah,
And the
if
willpower.
if there is a will, there is a way.
Right. So how can young minds like you can make a real difference in educating people in this regard?
Actually, we young ones are we should take the initiative. We have to take what, as my fellow she said, where there is a will there is a way. We have to take equal and every opportunity in the field of environment and everything. We have to take various initiative. We are the ones who can grow plants, and as we all learned about sustainable development, we have to use the resources in such a way that for our future, even we are kids now, we are the younger ones, for our future even we need. So we should take the initiative now for our better future.
Right. So I'm reminded today of a speech given by a young girl in a UN convention, where you remember that, right? So where she had blatantly asked the policymakers, the world leaders, to frame a policies when in fact can give a better understanding on protecting the environment. Tell us, we need more young leaders, the green crusaders, right?
We need more young leaders.
Leaders to
lead.
propagate the idea, right?
Yeah. There is something called the generation gap, and then what I feel is our generation, it's we're more literate, we're more educated,
Right.
and then we should be more aware. That's our duty. And compared to what the earth was before, we had more resources if we compare, and then we had less factories. But now that the population is growing, and now that the factories are growing, I think it's our responsibility to actually come up with initiatives and talking about new young leaders. I think young minds are much more productive. Young minds they actually have the potential to lead the society. So what we can do is, starting from trivial things like actually teaching your younger sisters or your brothers to just go and pick up the wrappers that is just nearby. So charity starts from home. We can't just come up and just say let's buy a truck and go around collecting the waste from every house. I think it starts from trivial things, and then that is teaching your younger ones, and then ourselves taking the initiatives. That includes dumping of garbage, and then picking of small wrappers, and then actually if we give this a little thought, once a week, if every family in Gangtok or any place, if they take out their time and they plant a tree, I think that small initiative can lead to a big difference. So it's that's not going to take much of your time. It's just that you need to have the will. Like my friend said, you need to have the will, and then you need to understand what we need to do for the mother nature to actually survive. So what I mean to say is, little initiatives taken by people can actually make a big difference. So small steps to making a huge impact.
Right. Let me inform you, there is a group of young minds in Sikkim, Stars of Hope, which in fact is working on a garbage management without any government support. They recently conducted a waste, management, session at government college in Tadung, and they have been doing all the waste assessment as of how many waste are being generated from Sikkim government college every day. So this is what they are doing. Let us come to one of the most important aspect, and that is the increase of carbon footprint in our air, and that possibly is due to the increase of number in the vehicles. How can we tackle this? Because Gangtok basically is facing huge problem with the traffic jam and with the increase of vehicles. What can be done?
Regarding the pollution is a kind of material element which contaminates the air. So regarding this, I think that some of the developed countries have taken initiative of building a post, eco-friendly pole. It's a kind of pole, and what it does is it takes up all the carbon dioxide. It works as an artificial tree because it takes up all the carbon dioxide which has been basically released by the vehicles on the road, and then it releases the oxygen back. So that is what they have been doing it. So even if we can take such kind of measures, then we can obviously we can tackle, because government cannot stop the manufacturers, the vehicle manufacturers, to stop manufacturing the vehicles. Now vehicles is one of the a product which has been accepted by all the citizens, right? We all need vehicles.
It's a necessity,
right? It's a necessity, kind of necessity right now. So in that prospect, government, I think they have a very small hand or small role to play over there, because they can't stop completely the production of the vehicles, but at least they can build eco-friendly the devices, and they can put it on the streets, which can actually take up all the carbon dioxide, and instead of it can release the oxygen. So that will be a major help for all the citizens.
Do you want to add something on climate change?
Yes, sir. I just want to exaggerate this point that eco-friendly devices that he said. I saw one interview of yours that a person from Sikkim has invented an eco-friendly car.
Right.
And I think it should be something like that should be promoted in Sikkim and all over the world. That's what I feel. And such eco-friendly cars and bikes, not only those things but factories as well. That should be invented all over the world and spread all over it. Thank you.
Right, so he is talking about Bikal Rai, ATTC student who in fact has come up with this innovative idea of manufacturing a eco-friendly car which operates through a battery, so it's totally a mechatronic device. So what could be the possible adverse effect on the animals basically when it comes to the climate change? What do you think? Ice is melting.
Ice is melting, and also the forests, they are being cut down so that we can build, to extend the land, we're cutting down the forest and all that.
So that's a greed of human.
Yeah, that's people are greedy, and then this thing. What is happening is we are destroying the animals, their habitat, their homes. So I think we should not do that or something.
So
Yeah.
So rivers and lakes are drying up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, it is.
Would you like to add something on this?
I would like to add something regarding the cars.
Yeah.
Like whatever sir had addressed, I would like to what I say is I think people these days we've become more materialistic. So every house needs to have a car, and they need to show off, and they need to buy another car even though it's not needed. So I talked about trivial things. So what we can start doing is if the distance is walkable, I think we should walk. So it's we have this saying in Hindi, ek tir se do nishana. It's your body is going to be fit, you're going to get some exercise, plus you're saving the environment in a small way, but if people do it more often, of course it is going to make a big impact. So first thing is we can actually walk if the distance is walkable, and not take our cars. And second thing, for instance, we have children going to school, they have neighbors. So for instance, if there are two buildings and two of the children, they go to the same school, and both the houses, they have a car. So what they can do is the parents could actually talk to each other and then use one car, as in two kids going in different cars to the same school. So give it a little thought, talk to each other, use one car for one day, taking both of the kids, and then using another car, so that we can also tackle traffic jam, so that there won't be much traffic jam, and the parents could talk to each other and actually manage this day I'm going to take your kid as well, so tomorrow you take my kid, so that way we can actually save the growing pollution.
Right, so before we wind up this interesting discussion, I'm gonna take a ending note, a conclusion note, a message from you all to our viewers who in fact are watching you. Let me start with you, your message.
My message for all the viewers would be to save the water, because drinking water is very important factor for all of us. And if we see the stats that we have been learning since childhood, that 3/4 of our earth is covered by the water, which is a very funny fact actually. And despite of that, we are having a lack of drinking water. And the main reason behind this is, out of that 75% of water, only 1% is drinking water, which human can use it. And on that 1% also, few point percent are not accessible, and some other few percent is not like suitable for the drinking water purpose. So this is a very interesting and very a varying fact for all of us, that why this drinking water is so important, and why is it so important to save water. Every drop of water is very, very important. Fortunately, in our state, in our Sikkim, the environmental way, we are very, very fortunate to have a very clean environment, and even the drinking water facilities are more or less accessible for all the citizens. But other parts of the country, and not only our country but other parts of the world, they are having a huge shortage of water. So my message for the community would be to take a step and play a small role by saving few drops of water.
Right, your message?
Well, I'd like to address all the viewers of Sikkim to just plant a sapling every day rather than plucking it out, and use more jute bags and save water, as Sir said. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.
I would like to say, I would like to talk about, sustainable development. You know what sustainable development is, right? Like development that takes place, taking care of, like without harming the resources for, future needs or something. So right now, with all this industrialization and urbanization for what? To make money only, right? So we're making money for, our kids and all that. So later on, what is going to happen is you're going to, probably see industrialization and then later on everything will get exhausted, and later on nothing is going to be
nothing
there.
would be left.
Yeah, so we have to think about it.
Right. You?
My message to all the people is that it's ours, nature, the nature is ours, and it's for ourselves. So let's be quite responsible enough. That's it. Let's be responsible.
My message to everyone is that as Earth is very populated and lots of pollutions are going on, and we should stop this, because most of the animals are going to extinct. As we have recently learned that even polar bears are going to extinct. This is because due to the global warming, the ice is getting melted, and as polar bear are the habitats of this cold area, so there won't be cold areas if global warming takes on. And as I've recently learned that China is one of the most populous country in the world, and it's creating a place where even in the houses they plant about thousands of trees. Even our country should take an initiative like this. Thank you.
Yeah.
What I would like to address to the viewers is I think we are excelling in the fields of technology, and we're doing great. But I think now it's time to actually realize that all this technology and all this knowledge, it's going to go in vain, and it is going to be of no use if we don't realize that our mother nature is not happy. And for that we need to take steps. And Tashila, my classmate, he already addressed about jute bags and about the cars, and also addressed about saving of the water. So I'd like to say again that charity begins from home. So if you are watching this video, and then if you feel that we actually need to do something, so let's get up, let's take a step, and let's just save our Mother Earth.
Right, guys, thank you so much for putting your point of view, and it makes a lot of difference, as you guys are the young leaders who are the society and nation builders, right? Today morning I was going through an interesting post by one of my friends who writes, I don't want to talk about protecting the environment, but I want to create a situation where our environment does not need any protection, right? So this is a very strong message which in fact should be going to the masses and to the public when it comes in regard to the conservation and protection of the environment. I'm sure, like, you know, you all enjoyed this point of thought, the opinion of these young nation builders of Greendale Senior Secondary School. And if you have some of your thought process, then please don't be reluctant to put your opinion in the inbox below. We'll be coming up with similar kind of discussions on very important other topics. Until then, with camera person Ashish Gurung, this is Nirmal for Sikkim Chronicle, and thanks for watching.